Hello my beautiful geeks, how is everybody doing today? It's your boy Lewis coming to you once again with a very special review of Titans episode 4, Doom Patrol Connection, guys. Technically a backdoor pilot for the Doom Patrol DC Universe show that will be coming out very soon. Was it any good? Let's talk about it and see what we got. Today, DarkKnightNation joins us, guys, to do this very special episode review for you guys. Thank you again for your help. So without any further ado, let's get right to the episode, guys.
Hey guys, it's DarkKnightNation here coming at you on the Geek Fortress. First off, big thanks to Lewis for having me on and introducing me to you lovely geeks. A little introduction to myself: I run the channel DarkKnightNation, where we do comic book reviews, analysis, story dissections, and discussions. We also like to talk about some other storytelling mediums that are home to geeky content, like movies and TV. You can find my channel here, and the link should be somewhere in the description below. And if you haven't already, please be absolutely sure to subscribe to the Geek Fortress down below. Lewis is a super freaking cool guy, and I am so happy to be able to collaborate with him. Otherwise, if you think that I have something decent to say, again, feel free to go check out my channel, subscribe to it. But first and foremost, this is the guy that you should be subscribed to, so make sure to do that. So, onto today's shindig, I guess. Let me put it out there that if you've been on the fence about watching it, do yourself a favor, sit down, and do it. Obviously the show isn't perfect, but it's leaps and bounds above my expectations. So, picking up on episode 4 of Titans, titled Doom Patrol, Rachel Roth, known to many of us as Raven, has escaped a Christian covenant looking to keep her safe from those hunting her, and to keep the rest of the world safe from her tremendously undomesticated power. Long story short, she meets fan favorite Beast Boy, and is soon introduced to the Doom Patrol as Dick Grayson and Coriander search for her. Let me start with this. Not only is Ben Potter as Beast Boy proven to be solid casting, the written portrayal of the character feels so authentic. And that's really no surprise, seeing as the episode was spearheaded and written by Jeff Johns. Another strength from beginning to start here is Raven's development. In the beginning of the series, she was a very secluded, self-conscious, and paranoid character. Upon meeting the Doom Patrol, though, she feels that she's more at home, and later in the episode, her somewhat familial relationship with Dick Grayson is cemented a little bit more. Now, the introduction to the Doom Patrol, folks, is perfect. They're eclectic, odd, and overall freaking strange. The origins of the characters are near perfect, and the atmosphere whenever they're on camera is a trip. So obviously the Doom Patrol are born of tragedy, and Raven's abilities as an empath are displayed in full here, which is great. Again, this is pointing her in a positive direction in developing her as her own character. She doesn't judge any of them, and is in fact open to taking on their tragedies, even in the face of the huge threats that have been facing her throughout the overarching narrative of this season. That's Raven, folks. Also, her budding romance with Beast Boy feels really organic, and I ship the hell out of it. I can't really say much else about how great the Doom Patrol are here. I mean, the first scene with Negative Man includes him cooking in the rhythm to Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Also, the road they live on is Danny Street for all of you hardcore Doom Patrol fans. One of the beautiful things about Titans so far is that it finds ways to balance the shortcomings and the growth of the main cast, which is really difficult because this is a team series, right? And not only are we trying to learn a little bit more about the Titans team, I guess the base group, but also the ancillary characters like Hawk and Dove, and now the Doom Patrol. So far, Dick Grayson has been pretty angry, isolated, and downright violent. Obviously, this series is based in fiction, but the thematics are real and grounded. Real-life insecurities, real-life flaws, and that's what makes us connect to the characters. Specifically with Robin Dick Grayson, I love how his life and his indoctrination into crime fighting at a young age has left a lot of room for him to develop. He's emotionally scarred and a little bit stunted like his predecessor. He learned to beat away his problems at a young age, which has left a lot of room for him to develop, and I hope we'll get to see that throughout this series. His obvious similarities to the one person he's trying not to be also ramp up his internal conflict, and it'll give him more to grow from. I really like this take on Dick Grayson, and really haven't begun to pick the tip of the iceberg about how complex this portrayal is, but it's certainly not your daddy's Dick Grayson, and I'm kind of okay with that. So in episode 4, Beast Boy really got to break out and show us some stuff. We finally got more than maybe a couple minutes with the character, which obviously people have been looking for. I know Lewis in his previous review through Geek Fortress was talking about how bummed he was that we hadn't really gotten a lot of screen time with Beast Boy. So thankfully, this was the episode where we really got it. One of the things that I love is the way that the character's portrayed. I mentioned earlier about how Jeff Johns wrote the episode, and he really captured the character and his fear of abandonment, seeing as his origin story in this show has to do with him losing his parents and feeling lost and left alone in the world. And, you know, he builds this family with the Doom Patrol, but there's still some underlying insecurity going on with the character, and I think that that's one of the things that's going to be panned out throughout the series, especially now that he's developing a relationship with Rachel, or Raven, and hopefully the Teen Titans as the season moves forward. He just wants more than anything to have some friends, and he's a boy looking for a home. And that, again, like I said, that connection to Raven is going to be huge, and that's probably what's going to be the big sprout to their romantic relationship. Overall, there was a very central understanding to Gar Logan Beast Boy, and it's a really... They did a great job at making the character compelling, which I think, you know, based on what we've seen in the past, more namely the Teen Titans animated show, he was kind of the goofy team member, and then once we got into the Judas Contract-esque story was when they started to develop him, but I really like what they're doing with him here, and again, Ben Potter does a great job as Beast Boy. Overall, the plot to this episode didn't add too much to the main narrative, besides Raven breaking out of the Covenant, because that is essentially the aftermath from the previous episode. But we got a lot of added character development here, whether it be Raven and how she's learning to accept people into her life, and how she really just wants everybody to feel happiness, right? She's an empath. All of her powers and abilities are related to her ability to take in these emotions and manipulate them, I guess, change them. Awesome stuff. I really, really dug this episode. And then, like I said, at the end of the episode, the moment with her and Dick Grayson I thought was really great. Overall, this episode was really just a backdoor pilot to Doom Patrol, and I'm kind of okay with that. Everything about the Doom Patrol in this episode felt perfect and really on par for me. So, I mean, honestly, I think this might have been my favorite episode of the series so far. I mean, that's not to be taken lightly, because I've really generally liked this series so far, but if I had to give this a rating out of 10, I think I'd feel really comfortable, honestly, giving it maybe like a 9.3, 9.4, even a 9. No, I'm not going to play with semantics. I'm going to slap down a fat 9.5 on this episode. I really dug it. Everything about the characterization was great. I think that it found a really organic way to introduce the Doom Patrol, and it just felt authentic to these characters, man. Like, the only Doom Patrol run I've ever touched was Grant Morrison's, and that's largely the one that everybody kind of points to as the quintessential. And I got the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol vibe here. You really can't ask for anything else. But awesome episode. And really quick, I wanted to give a big thanks to Lewis for inviting me over to talk to you guys about Titans. It's a show that I really enjoy. I always prioritize watching it throughout the week whenever I get the chance. And if you're not watching it, I would definitely recommend that you do. If you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to the Geek Fortress. This guy puts out awesome content, and he's a great guy to talk to. I've gotten the chance to collaborate him once before on Witches by Scott Snyder, and it was an absolute freaking blast. So, if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the Geek Fortress. Like this video to let this guy know that all the stuff he's putting out is freaking fire, boys, okay? So, again, my name is DarkKnightNation, and if you want to go check me out, the link should be in the description below. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, stay awesome and geek on. DarkKnightNation signing out.